Welcome to my channel, Analysis Hole, the black hole of exploring knowledge. Please like and subscribe for further notifications. Now, students, today I am going to tell you about some of the important questions, important objective type, very short questions from Mahashweta Devi's story, The Hunt. तो ये क्वेश्चन जो मैं आपको बताती हूँ ये आपको सिर्फ अपने याद रखने हैं, दिमाग में रखने हैं, रटने नहीं है, क्योंकि वहाँ पर आपको 4 ऑप्शन मिलेंगे। तो आपको उसका सही ऑप्शन पता होगा तो आप अपने करेक्ट आंसर पर टिक लगा देंगे। तो बस आपको इसको लर्न नहीं करना है, सिर्फ करेक्ट आंसर इसका पता होना चाहिए, इसलिए मैं आपको ये वीडियोस बना कर दे रही हूँ। Now question number 1. What is the central theme of the hunt by Mahashweta Devi? The central theme of the hunt revolves around the exploitation of tribal communities and their struggle for survival in the face of oppression. Now question 2. Who is the author of the hunt? The author of the hunt is Mahashweta Devi. वेयर इज़ द सेटिंग ऑफ द स्टोरी द हंट, मतलब कहाँ की स्टोरी है ये? द स्टोरी इज सेट इन अ फॉरेस्टेड रीजन इन इंडिया इनहेबिटेड बाय ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज़, जहाँ पर ट्राइबल लोग रहते थे, जंगल का रीजन था, वहाँ की स्टोरी है ये। व्हाट इज़ द ऑक्यूपेशन ऑफ द प्रोटैगनिस्ट डूली इन द स्टोरी? तो क्या ऑक्यूपेशन है डूली की? डूली इज़ अ ट्राइबल वुमन हु कलेक्ट्स फायरवुड एंड बैम्बू शूट्स फ्रॉम द फॉरेस्ट। What is the conflict that drives the plot of the hunt? तो क्या कॉन्फ्लिक्ट थी जिससे प्लॉट इसका चलता है, मतलब क्या स्टोरी है इसकी हंट की, कैसे पता लगता है हमें क्या कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है इसमें? द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट इन द स्टोरी अराइजेज व्हेन अ फॉरेस्ट ऑफिसर अक्यूजेज ड्यूली ऑफ थेफ्ट एंड अटेम्प्ट्स टू एक्सप्लॉइट हर। तो फॉरेस्ट ऑफिसर ड्यूली पर जब इल्ज़ाम लगाता है चोरी का, तो यहाँ से इसका कॉन्फ्लिक्ट स्टार्ट होती है। व्हाट इज़ द रोल ऑफ द फॉरेस्ट ऑफिसर ज्योतिर्मय इन द स्टोरी? तो फॉरेस्ट ऑफिसर का नाम था ज्योतिर्मय। ज्योतिर्मय इज़ द एंटेगनिस्ट इन द स्टोरी, रिप्रेजेंटिंग द ऑपरेसिव गवर्नमेंट अथॉरिटी दैट एक्सप्लॉइट्स द ट्राइबल पीपल। वो हमेशा ट्राइबल पीपल का एक्सप्लॉइटेशन करता था। व्हाट इज़ द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ द टाइटल द हंट इन द स्टोरी? The title The Hunt refers to the constant struggle and persecution faced by the tribal people in the forest. How does Dooley respond to Jyotirmoy's accusations? Answer: Dooley responds by initially denying the accusations but later standing up for herself and her community. What is the outcome of the confrontation between Dooley and Jyotirmoy? The confrontation results in Dooley and the tribal community resisting Jyotirmoy's exploitation and asserting their rights. What message or social issue does Mahashweta Devi addresses in the hunt? अब इस बुक से श्वेता देवी क्या मैसेज देना चाहती है हमें? In the hunt, Mahashweta Devi addresses the exploitation of marginalization of tribal communities. तो यहाँ पर उसने दिखाया है कि कैसे कैसे ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज़ का एक्सप्लोइटेशन होता है, एंड द रेजिलियंस दे एग्जिबिट इन द फेस ऑफ ऑपरेशन। तो क्या क्या उन्हें कठिनाइयों का सामना करना पड़ता है। क्वेश्चन नंबर 11. व्हाट इज़ द रोल ऑफ द फॉरेस्ट इन द लाइव्स ऑफ द ट्राइबल पीपल इन द स्टोरी? द फॉरेस्ट इज़ अ वाइटल सोर्स ऑफ लिवलीहुड एंड सस्टेनेंस फॉर ट्राइबल पीपल, मतलब उनकी आजीविका का एक साधन होता है फॉरेस्ट, एंड इट होल्ड्स कल्चरल एंड स्पिरिचुअल सिग्निफिकेंस फॉर देम। What does the character of Jyotirmoy symbolize in the story? Jyotirmoy symbolizes the oppressive and exploitative forces of government authority and target vulnerable communities. How does Dooley's character evolve through the story? Dooley's character evolves from a timid victim to a strong and defiant woman who leads her community in resisting exploitation. What role do the tribal women play in the story's resolution? The tribal women, including Dooley, play a crucial role in organizing and leading the resilience against Jyotirmoy. What does the story The Hunt reveal about resilience of marginalized communities? The Hunt highlights to the incredible resilience and determination of marginalized tribal communities in the face of oppression and exploitation. What is the relationship between Dooley and the forest? Dooley shares a deep and symbiotic relationship with the forest as if it provides her livelihood and sustenance. How does Dolly's community react when she is accused by Jyotirmoy? Dolly's community rallies behind her, showing solidarity and support against Jyotirmoy's accusations. What is the role of the character Ruku in the story? Ruku is a fellow tribal woman who supports and encourages Dolly to stand up against Jyotirmoy's exploitation. तो रुकू जो थी वो डोली की फ्रेंड थी, ट्राइबल वुमेन ही थी जो उसके साथ खड़ी रही, उसको इनकरेज करती रही डोली को ज्योतिर्मोय के एक्सप्लॉइटेशन के अगेंस्ट. What does tribal community do to resist Jyotirmoy's harassment? The tribal community organizes a protest and refuses to be intimidated by Jyotirmoy's authority. What does the story reveal about the power dynamics between the government and tribal communities? The story highlights the unequal power dynamics where the government officials wield authority and exploit vulnerable tribal communities. How does Dolly challenge Jyotirmoy's authority? Dolly challenges Jyotirmoy's authority by standing up for her rights and rallying her community to resist his exploitation. What is the significance of the traditional drum in the story? The traditional drum serves as a symbol of unity and resilience for the tribal community. What is the turning point in the story? The turning point occurs when Dolly decides to fight back against Jyotirmoy's accusations and oppression. How does the story depict the consequences of colonialism and displacement? The story indirectly depicts the consequences and colonialism and displacement through the exploitation faced by the tribal people. What does the character of the teacher symbolize in the story? The teacher symbolizes the educated class that seeks to bridge the gap between the tribal community and government. What role does traditional folklore play in the story? Traditional folklore reinforces the sense of identity, culture, and resistance within the tribal community. How does Mahashweta Devi use symbolism in the hunt? The traditional drum, forest, and folklore are examples of symbols used to convey deeper meanings and themes in the story. How does the story depict the struggle for land rights? The story reflects the struggle of the tribal community to retain their land and resources in the face of encroachment or by outsiders. What is the impact of Dolly's activism on her community? Dolly's activism empowers her community to resist exploitation and take a stand against oppression. How does the story depict the tension between modernity and tradition? The story depicts the tradition between modern government authority and traditional tribal ways of life. How does Dolly manage to stand her ground against Jyotirmoy's accusation? Dolly's determination, the support of her community, and her courage to assert her rights enable her to stand her ground. What does Dolly mean when she says, "What is not mine I won't touch, no matter how much I starve"? Dolly is referring to her ethics and refusal to steal or exploit, even if it means suffering. How does the tribal community's resilience relate to the title The Hunt? The tribal community's struggle for survival and resistance against exploitation can be seen as a metaphorical hunt for justice and dignity. How does the story criticize the exploitation of natural resources? The story criticizes the exploitation of natural resources by showing how outsiders like Jyotirmoy take advantage of the forest resources at the expense of tribal people. How does Dolly's character challenge gender norms within her community? Dolly's courage and leadership challenge traditional gender norms by showing that women can be strong, assertive. How does the story address the issue of cultural preservation? The story emphasizes the importance of cultural preservation through the tribal community's resilience on folklore and their unity. What does the story reveal about the impact of government policies on marginalized communities? The story reveals that government policies can perpetuate the marginalization of tribal communities by exploiting their resources and denying from their rights. How does the forest officer's attitude reflect colonial mindset? The forest officer's attitude reflects a colonial mindset where those in authority feel entitled to exploit and control marginalized communities. How does Julie's speech at the meeting demonstrate her leadership? Julie's speech at the meeting showcases her ability to inspire and unite her community against oppression, displaying her leadership qualities. What message did Mahashweta Devi convey when about the power of collective action? Mahashweta Devi conveys that collective action and unity are powerful tools for marginalized communities to resist exploitation and assert their rights. How does the story portray the government's treatment of tribal people? The story portrays the government's treatment of tribal people as exploitative and dismissive of their rights and needs. What role does Jyotirmoy's upbringing play in his behavior towards the tribal community? Jyotirmoy's privileged upbringing and sense of entitlement contribute to his exploitation behavior towards the tribal community. How does the story suggest that exploitation is not limited to just physical resources? The story suggests that exploitation extends to the social, cultural, and economic well being of marginalized communities beyond just natural resources. What does the forest symbolize for the tribal people in the story? The forest symbolizes a place of sustenance, tradition, and home for the tribal people, making it a central element in their lives. How does Dooley's character resonate with broader themes of social justice? Dooley's story reflects broad, broader themes of social justice, including empowerment, resistance, and the fight against systematic oppression. How does Mahashweta Devi use dialogue to convey the emotions of the characters? Mahashweta Devi uses dialogue to reveal characters' frustrations, determination, and the power dynamics at play in their interactions. How does the story highlight the importance of education for marginalized communities? The story emphasizes the potential of education, symbolized by the teacher, to bridge gaps and empower marginalized communities. What is the significance of the traditional songs sung by the tribal women? The traditional songs serve as a cultural expression that strengthens the unity and resilience of the tribal women. How does the story portray the government's response to protests by marginalized communities? The story portrays the government's response as dismissive and unwilling to address the grievances of marginalized communities. How does the story conclude, and what message does it leave to the reader with? The story concludes with the Dooley's community standing strong against exploitation, leaving the message that unity and resilience can lead to justice. Now, these are some of the questions, and hope these will prove helpful for your upcoming exams.